Before we jump into today's episode, I have some exciting news to share. The Empowered Educator Show has been recognized by Million Podcasts as one of the top 100 career change podcasts for 2026. And I'm honored to share that we're ranked number 19. That's 19 out of 100. Thank you so much for being part of this incredible community of educators and leaders. Your support, your downloads, reviews, and your shares have made this possible. If you would like to see the complete top 100 list, I've included a link in today's show notes.
The three systems of leadership: leading, learning, logistics. Go the extra mile, motivate, inspire. Go the extra mile, lead, empower. Principles take action. Let's go, fuel your passion. Go the extra mile. Let's go. Principles take action. Motivate, inspire. Go the extra mile. Lead, empower.
Welcome back to the Empowered Educator Show. I'm your host, Dr. Mel. I have a guest with me today. I have Nathaniel. And Nathaniel, I didn't even ask you how to pronounce your last name. So I'm going to guess, and then you tell me if I'm incorrect.
All right, let's do it.
Provencio?
Close. There's just no H in it.
Okay, so say it for me. Say it for me.
Provencio.
Provencio. Okay.
Yeah. And
All
for the
right.
record, it's not Italian, it's Spanish, just for the record.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
See, I would have guessed Italian.
It's all right.
Definitely.
It's all right.
Nathaniel is around the Washington, D.C. area, so he gets to see all of the big wigs probably and do a little bit of collaboration with them. He has his own show, which is called The Community Connection. He is a nationally recognized educational consultant, keynote speaker, leadership coach. My goodness, you just do it all. I'm telling you, you specialize in PLCs. I'm getting ready to go to what's it called? Oh my gosh, totally forgot. It's the PLC summit that they have in Nashville next week, and I've totally forgotten what it's called.
Yeah, right
And
on.
yeah, who is the big guy? I'll think of it here in a minute.
Yep.
I got too much stuff in my head.
It's all right.
Leadership development, school culture, creating exceptional experiences for students, staff, and families. You're an author. You've got a lot going on. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dr. Mel. I've been looking forward to this for a while, so I really appreciate having an opportunity to chat with you.
Yeah, and I've been seeing you on social media. You are doing all kinds of stuff. I think I saw you in the Lego store. You
Yep.
pretty much connect everything somehow to education. And
Yes.
I love it. I love how you do that. And then you stick it out there for the rest of us to see and to learn from. So good job.
Yeah. No, it's cool. School is fascinating because there is so much going on in schools and classrooms and counties and districts. I mean, if you think about it, you've got academics, right, that we want to try to get better at. We've got advocacy that we want to try to get better at. We've got attendance that we're trying to get better at. We've got agency that we're trying to get better at. And, and there's a lot of challenges, I think, with it. And, I've been exceedingly blessed to have a fantastic career, exceedingly blessed. I'm playing with house money, right, when it comes to this work. And if I could just, connect just a little bit and help leaders think outside the box, then I think I'm doing my job. I'm a teacher at heart, Mel. I'm a third grade teacher at heart. I was a third grade teacher for 6 years. Love that job. and had some opportunities to become, do some leadership things within that grade level. And then I was an assistant principal. Hated that job. That job was just like compliance, consequences, and complaints. I was like, man, okay, all right, what's next? Do I go back to the classroom or do I become a principal? And I was like, I'll be a principal. And so I was pretty young at the time, and I think I interviewed at, oh my gosh, 13 different schools, and I just heard no, 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 no. And that's mentally exhausting. I mean,
is.
interviews are mentally exhausting. So the universe was showing me signs like, hey, buddy, you're not ready to be a principal. And it's so interesting. When I was a teacher, I had this student that was just a fantastic in my first year teaching. I was a terrible first year teacher. I didn't know what I was doing, but I had this. I know we're just sink or swim, right? But I had this kid.
Company. You're in good company.
I had good, yeah. I had this kid. He was just a great kid. His name was Evan. I loved this kid so much. I ended up naming my firstborn son, not after him, but because the name. When you're a teacher, there's some names that you don't name your kids because those names really, you know what I mean? Well, this kid, I'm talking about this, but this kid was fantastic. And I remember his mom at the time a stay-at-home mom, and she wanted to volunteer. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Come and volunteer. And her name was Meredith, and she was a fantastic, what we call room moms. They come in, they help out, and she was just great. And she said that maybe one day she was going to be a teacher. And I was like, yeah, you should, and, she was. Anyway, that 13th interview, Mel, that mom was on the interview panel. And so the connection was crazy. And I had no idea. So I go into the 13th interview. I'm about ready to quit. And this mom, who was my room mom as a teacher, is in there. You talk about like a universe, like smiling at you, right?
So was she like a parent?
She was a teacher.
A teacher.
She ended up becoming a teacher, and she was representing teachers in that. So guess what? I got the job. It was just like such a God moment, right?
Yeah, God does incredible stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Amazingly.
And so anyway, those types of stories, they're connections, and I think that's what our, my work has been about. Is about we can only do so much by ourselves. It's everything is about who we connect with, connecting with our team, connecting with our families, connecting with our community. Because I think excellence doesn't happen in isolation. The enemy of excellence is independence. It's interdependence that makes great schools. And so that's what my life's work has been about. It's about connecting. So if I'm in a Lego store, I'm trying to make a connection about what a great company like Lego does to empower its customers. If I'm in a Waffle House, I'm trying to connect that leadership lesson to leaders. If I'm in Nordstrom, or if I'm in, I don't know, where was it? Costco, about $1.50 hot dog. What does $1.50 hot dog have to do with customer service? Maybe more than you'd think. So anyway, so I love trying to take disparate kind of like ideas and put them together. And that's what I did as a superintendent. It's what I try to do as a principal. And that's what I do now as a leadership coach.
So how long have you been in education, as in schools? You're not probably in there now, correct? Are you doing
right? So I was
educational consulting full time.
Yeah, I was a third grade teacher for 6 years. I was an AP for 3 years. I was a principal for right around 10 years. And then I was an associate superintendent for about 3 years. And then after COVID, like, there were a lot of universe signs that said, you know what, your zeal is bigger than your zip code. And you've got two choices. Yeah. You can stay and serve and not be happy and just wait for retirement and then do whatever you want. But COVID said, you know what, disaster could happen tomorrow. So you got one life to live. Yep. Whose life are you living? Are you living life for you, or are you living life for something that maybe you don't align with? So my zeal was bigger than my zip code. So I decided to become a leadership coach, leadership consultant. Didn't know what I was doing, but had some pretty good success as a principal. And I was, going back to how can I connect some of the successes that I've had with other school districts, teachers, leaders that may not ever have an opportunity to have a conversation with that. So I love conferences, but I think coaching is more impactful.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do now. So I travel about 150-ish days a year, and I'm in schools all over the place. And it's really, and I probably learn more from them than they learn from me in a way, but I can be a little bit of a cross pollinator for good ideas. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
absolutely. And I'm the same as you. I love a conference, but I tell you what, when you are in a room full of teachers and you are helping them in any way at all be more impactful in their instruction or anything that they're doing, even leadership, helping them develop their leadership skills, it is, it fills your heart. It fills your cup, it fills your heart, all of it. So,
yeah, no, I agree. And and one of the things that I'm just so happy to be on your show and to talk about is, I got this new book coming out,
mhm,
and it's something that's really, really resonating with me because public education is under attack. I
it
think
is.
a lot of education in America, with public private, is under attack. And I just think that we've got to start thinking more about our service to our students, our service to our staff, and our service to our families more than we've ever done before. There's a lot of conversations about academics and fidelity to this and research that. But Mel, you know what we're not talking about? We're not talking about customer service, and we're not talking about experience. And as someone who's very passionate about education, the most important hat that I wear is the hat of a father, by the way.
Mhm.
I've had all these pretty cool experiences from substitute to superintendent, but the most important job is a father. And I just want my kids to have the best education possible. And also, why would I want less for any other kid? And in a country with abundance like we have and the blessings that we have as a country, we're doing things wrong, in my opinion. And I think it's time to change that narrative. And so this is not this new book and this new work that I'm doing. It's not about products. It's about service.
Mhm.
And maybe that's something we can dive into a little bit because you're currently a superintendent. You're running a school, right? You're running
Yes.
a district,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So what made you realize that there's a connection between customer service and, leadership? I mean, my audience, they are brand new leaders
Yep.
within their first few years. How is how is it that you realize that there's a connection, and then how does that translate to what they need to do?
All right. Very good. I'll ask you a question, Dr. Mel.
All right.
You've got a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a doctorate, I'm assuming, correct?
Mhm. Mhm.
Look at that. See, I did my research.
You did.
In all of those degrees, how many classes,
Mm.
specific classes did you have on customer service and experience?
Not a single one.
Not a dang one. That's why this is important. So if you think about all the new leaders that you have listening to this, we're not training our school leaders to be service leaders. They're barely instructional leaders, to be quite honest with you,
Right.
right? So, that's a whole nother thing. But, who cares what research-based products that you're looking at if your attendance is terrible? Who cares whether or not you've got you know programs with fidelity or whatever if you've got a 50% staff exit rate?
Right.
Who cares where what you're trying to do if your school's rated an F, because you haven't invested in your families. I got three stats for your listeners over here I just pulled up. Look at this. 60% of families are considering education options other than their public school. 60%. Now, that's showing is it's not academic issue. That's a service issue. That's
Right.
what 1 in 5 teachers, whether that's public or private, 1 in 5 teachers may not return to the classroom this year. You think about smaller schools, like you serve a smaller school, right?
Mhm.
One
Yes.
teacher absence is like tremendous, right? And 50, and then look at the students. 53% of students in American classrooms are either not engaged or significantly disengaged in our classrooms. 53%. Those three stats that talk about your students, your staff, and your stakeholders, is enough to give any leader pause. So what are we doing about that? Right? Where's the fidelity to our staff? Where's the fidelity to our students? Where's the fidelity to our stakeholders? Forget fidelity to products. We need to have fidelity to people.
Yeah. And I'm a little bit surprised about that last stat, 53% the engagement. I mean, that seems really high to me, but
And those are just the ones that took the test. There's the survey.
exactly. And they might have bumped that just a little just to make an educated guess. So when you're thinking about customer service, what does that mean in a school setting?
Oh my gosh, it's so much. What's your favorite restaurant, Dr. Mel?
I've got too many, but probably anything Mexican. I'm all about Mexican.
Why do you like Mexican food? What is it about it?
The experience for one, but I also, you always get your chips and your salsa at the beginning, and
It's right.
like it's those attention to details that
Little
I kind of
things.
feel like, yeah,
Little things, man.
right.
As his, someone who's Hispanic, I love, I like options when they give me the green salsa, the verde salsa, and the red salsa. Oh
Mhm.
man, forget about that, right? I love it when I go into my favorite little local Mexican place and they know I like Dos Equis. They know I like the Dos Equis lager, right? I don't even have to ask for it. They just put it right on there, right? They know me, right? They greet me by name and say, "Hey, Nathaniel, welcome to, wherever." What is that? They smile. They
Mhm.
smile. They know my name. They know the food ain't great. I mean, it's beans, rice, and tortillas. I mean, I can go to anywhere in the world. It's going to be the same stuff, right? But it's the little things that matter. Now, think about this. I'm gonna ask your viewers some questions. So, if you're a new principal right now, what is your vision and mission? And if you have to think about it, you're already in a position of disservice to your community.
Mhm.
Dr. Mao, I looked it up because, good service is about, doing some research, investing in eternity one student at a time. I mean, that's pretty powerful, right?
Mhm.
I mean, that's something like your staff has to wake up every single day, and that's how they serve. They have to do everything they can to invest in eternity. I mean, eternity is like no pressure right there. You know what I
I know,
mean? So that's a
right?
high standard, Dr. Mel, right? Good luck
Exactly,
with that.
exactly. And that's
But
actually just our
anyway,
catchphrase. So that's not even our whole mission.
that's not
So,
even your whole vision. Yeah, I know. I
right.
mean, your mission is embrace, discover, seek,
And we're
serve.
actually working on that because not very many of my staff nor my board can repeat that when they're asked.
And you've
And if
got a service.
you,
Yep, you've got a service
Mhm,
problem.
mhm,
So it's got to be clear. And so we forget that clarity precedes competence. So if my leaders are the school leaders that are not my leaders, but the school
mhm,
leaders that are listening over here, what's your vision and mission? How clear is it? From the student to the board member to the custodian to the bus, if we are not aligned, we are not serving our students, we're not serving our staff, we're not serving. So just something like a vision and mission provides exceedingly clear clarity to our purpose. And if we don't repeat it, if we're not redundant about it, we're doing a disservice. I'll tell you
mhm,
another thing. I've never been to your school, but if I were to walk, this is a question, Mel. If
mhm.
I were a visitor to walk to the front entrance to your school building, okay, what would that front entrance say about your culture?
Yeah, I don't even want to answer that because Dr. Mel had to have a come to Jesus meeting with some people about what it looked like when our parents walk in there and what our office looked like. Not my office, but the office of the school building, what it said to people who walked into that office. And
Wow.
so that is a conversation that Dr. Mel has already had with some of my staff because of that very thing.
So the best chefs in the world, just bear with me here. The
Mhm.
best chefs in the world know that we eat with our eyes first,
Mhm.
and perception is reality. And so if I'm a parent walking to your building or anyone's building, so leaders, listen up. I want you to get out of your car and I want you to walk to where a parent has to ring the doorbell or the video cam or whatever. And I want you to take a second to pause and think about that touch point. That's what we call in the business world touch point. It's the first touch point of the school. Most of those video doorbell, right? You know what I'm talking about? You ring the doorbell.
Yep.
They're the same doorbell prisons use. They're
Right.
from the same company. Okay. So I ring that doorbell and I don't know who I'm talking to, because usually those video screens are one way, right?
Mhm.
So your front office secretary can see me,
Right.
but I can't see them, can I?
Correct.
I'm already feeling the same way. If we think about it, it's the same way a visitor at a prison would feel. And I'm telling you, this is crazy stuff, right? We never think about this. So here's what you do. You have Dr. Mel's face right there next to that entryway. You have the front office secretary's face, beautiful picture, headshot right there. And it says, welcome to North County Christian School. We are so welcome to have you. And you've got that in English, you got that in Spanish and whatever. And you say, please press here. We are welcome to have you. Just make it welcoming. And then we go into the building, and that needs to be like superb. And most front office staff, God bless them, don't have a single ounce of training on customer service or experience. They might have a little bit. They might have a manual. But here you go. Your principal or even your superintendent, how have you trained your front office staff to answer the phone? How have you trained the front office staff to look people in the eye, welcome them, offer them maybe something exceptional? So like if I go in, do you offer me a bottle of water when I walk in?
Yeah,
You,
we do over here in the admin office, but not so much over there.
yeah, but I'm not over there. I'm not there all the time.
I
I'm in
know.
your school all the time. Do I have coffee available? Do I have, just put yourself in as the visitor's experience. And I do this all the time. Mel, I'll probably do this for you. I will call school districts. I will call front office and just ask questions as if I'm a potential parent, just to see, do they know me? Are they friendly? Are they accommodating? If they can't answer the questions, like how accessible are they? Secret shopping, man, do it, see what happens. Anyway, that's just the entrance. I haven't even talked about the classrooms. I haven't even talked about the hallways. That's just going from your car to the front door. We don't think about this. So I'm not saying that, we put academics on the side or whatever. All I'm saying is just like take a moment to think about your school from another perspective. I know we're getting a little bit, short on time, but one of the best things you could do, Mel, as a superintendent, and I don't know if you've ever done this, but take a student that is your lowest performing student in your school. All right. Think about them. All right, you got their face. Now I'm going to ask you this. Have you ever spent all day with that kid?
No, never.
The best PD you will ever have is spending a day with that student through the eyes of that, we'll call them a customer, right? Because we serve them, right?
Right.
Spend a full day from their house to their bus to their classrooms to their house again. Spend a full day. That is the best PD you will ever have as a superintendent, because what you see through their eyes are things that you will never have experienced. And we forget that we typically serve through our own hemisphere of interest. But we need to if we're service, and especially in our faith-based communities, right?
Right.
So important to see things through the eyes of the people that we serve. Or we're serving selfishly. We're serving conveniently, right? And we all the time in schools will say, oh, we have to make decisions that are in the best interest of our kids. But Mel, most decisions are made in the comfort of adults. I'm just telling you. So that might be the best PD your new leaders, or even you, I'll challenge you, Dr. Mel, to have for this year coming up. Spend a full day with that child and then go back and report to your staff. Maybe there's some brilliant things that have happened. Maybe there's some things that we need to change.
Wow, I have taken copious notes already because you have given me a ton of things to think about. My goodness. And I'm going to be just very transparent. I'm like, when you first approached me, I'm like, I don't really know what if this will fit and how it's going to go. And like, this is probably one of the best conversations I've ever had on this podcast because you have stretched my thinking. You have given me a different perspective than I've
Sure.
ever had. So, oh my goodness, thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, you're too kind, and I appreciate that. But I've done some really stupid things as a principal.
Oh, we all have. Oh, we all have.
I have made every mistake known to man, and I know we're running out of time, but let me share this story with you. Do you at your school, do you do school supply lists?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to encourage you to stop doing that. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Okay, you
Okay.
ready? All right, here we go. I was, trying to turn my school around, and we had really embraced professional learning communities. We wanted to be a culture of professional learning communities, and we're all in. And we were really just focused on instruction and collaboration inside of our buildings. I I was about 3 or 4 years in as a principal, and my son was starting Head Start. And so I got the task to take my son to the Target. I don't like Walmart, by the way. I'm not a big fan of Walmart, but so I go to Target. It's a little bit more bougie, or it's a little bit more quiet,
Right, right.
So I go to Target, but there's a lot of leadership lessons from Walmart. But anyway, I went to a Target, and I had my son's Head Start school supply list. And I'm like, what the heck is going on with this supply list? So we go to the school supply section, and I was like, all right, crayons. And so I put the Rose Art crayons in the basket, and my
Oh,
son, he's
those are
pretty
the
savvy. He's like,
worst.
oh
The
no,
worst.
Dad, you can't use Rose Art crayons, Dad. That's for the hoi polloi. You got to use Crayola, and it's got to be 64. Read it, Dad. Read the school. So I'm like, oh crap. Okay, all right. So take the Rose Arts and put the Crayola, and you got to have the you're right. You got to have the sharpened
Mhm.
pencils, and you got to have the spiral composition. And then he's in Head Start, and it was like a flash drive. I'm like, what the hell does he need to do with a flash drive? He's in Head Start. So anyway, I'm just complaining all over the place.
That
So
is kind of surprising
it's
for a
crazy,
Head
right?
Start,
It was
right?
a bougie Head Start kind of school, right? So anyway, so I've got all the items in the cart, and we're in the lane to check out, and I'm just complaining. I'm like, oh, God, this is stupid. What kind of Head Start school is this? And there's a lady behind me who also has a shopping cart full of school supplies. And
Mhm.
she hears me being disgruntled and like complaining. And then I look at her, and she looks at me, and she's like, yeah, this is stupid, isn't it? I was like, this is stupid. I was like, what are we doing? She's like, I know. Wasn't there something called a free and appropriate public education? I'm like, yeah, I know. All right. There's got to be something. And then she goes on to tell me that I was like, well, what school do you go to? She goes, well, I just moved to a school a couple of years ago, and they've got this new principal, and he's kind of a jerk, and like we go to this school, and no one really talks to us, and like we just kind of show up, and like I don't know anything about it, and the only reason why I'm at this school is because that's the only community that I can afford. And I was like, yeah, that sounds crazy. So as a principal, my curiosity's piqued, and I say, well, what school do you go to? Mel, she said, Minnieville Elementary. That was the name of, I was the principal. That was my school. She was complaining about me and the school, and she had never met me, and she didn't recognize me because
Mhm.
I was like, my son looked at me. He's like 4 years old. He's like, Dad, this is weird, man. You just got called out. And I'm like, ma'am, I'm Nathaniel Provencio. She goes, no way. And then she turned every shade of red, you know what I mean? And I was just like, oh my God, what are you? See, she goes, look at the school supply list. I have to spend $200 on things I can't afford. I go in debt
Mhm.
every summer because of school
Wow.
supplies.
Wow.
And she says, I'm an immigrant, she goes, this is really hard for me. But I do it because, I want to support my kids. I was like, Mommy, listen, come to school on Monday. You're now on my leadership team, by the way,
Mhm. Mhm.
and come and sit down and let's talk to us. That embarrassing moment let me understand a little bit more that we do not truly invite perceptions and perspectives of our parents and our families until they leave,
Mhm.
until it's too late. And I did not ever want that to happen. So in a professional learning community, right? Who's the professional? Well, we're the professionals, but
Mhm.
our parents are our kids' first teachers, right? So
Right.
what am I doing not to involve them in this process? Learning, the L, learning. We need to learn about our parents and our families. We need to learn about our community as much as we need to learn about our academics.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a missed opportunity. And when it comes to C, community, it's not just the community in our building, Mel. It's the community that we are blessed to serve. And so doing great PLC work for me and for us could not have happened without involving our parents and our community. And so when you've got that triangle, man, when you've got students' interests, when you've got staff interests, and you've got families' interests all aligned, that's a true PLC, right? Action research on, active inquiry, collective inquiry, trying to do better for the kids that you serve.
Mm-hmm.
Well, serve means service.
Right.
Service means experience. So all of these life lessons where I've been embarrassed and I've screwed up and I've done the right thing, I'm just trying to share a little bit so leaders like you, leaders like your audience,
Mm-hmm.
cannot make the same mistakes that I've made.
Yes, you have done an amazing job of making me really think about going into next year. And I'm going to go get my supply list here in just a minute and check it out and see what's on there because you're right. I
Well,
mean,
here's
I
what we did.
remember.
Well, here's what we did. We stopped doing it. We stopped doing this is stupid because here's
Mhm.
what happens in our community. I've got kids bringing a paper sack full of their siblings broken rose art crayons coming in, and I've got families with a Gucci bag coming in with all. That's inequity.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? This is stupid. This is
Yes.
stupid.
Yes.
So I'll give you a little. When Jesus was on the Sermon of the Mount, he didn't. When he did the loaves and fishes, right? He didn't give sourdough to some. He didn't give, Triscuits to others, right? It wasn't like anchovies or salmon, right?
Right.
So even in the Christian based thing, right? What does equity mean? Sometimes equity just means we want everyone to start the year off on the same foot. But why
Right.
would I embarrass kids? Why would I do that? Why would I embarrass some of my kids?
Right.
That makes no sense. So we bought all the school supplies for everyone. We bought all those Crayola. We worked with businesses. We worked with churches. We worked with organizations. We said all 800 of our kids, when they walk into the school, they're going to have school supplies, the best, waiting for them. And that's what we did. And it took that embarrassment to do something like that. So we
Yeah.
got to we got to change, man. We got to evolve as school systems. But anyway, that's just one example.
Yeah. That's an amazing example. And I, wow. I wish we were not out of time because I am taking a ton of notes. I have learned so much today from you.
Well,
This
I've
has,
learned from you too, Mel. Thank you so
wow,
much.
this has been an amazing, amazing conversation. Unfortunately, we are out of time. So before we go, give my audience like one, I call them a power surge statement, just something that they can take that's tangible. I mean, you've already given us tons of things, but just
Yep.
one thing that's very tangible that they can implement tomorrow.
So my new book is called 5 Stars. It's with Solution Tree. It's available for pre-order now, but it drops officially in October. I got the name 5 Stars because as a first year principal, I went on this website called greatschools.org,
Yep.
I believe.
.org. Yep. Yep.
And then I went to another one called School Digger, and there's some others called Need. So you've got Yelp reviews out there. You've got them.
Mhm.
And I just want you to go to those websites. I'm not saying they're right. I'm not saying they're accurate, but perception's reality. And do you have a 5-star school? That's what I want you to do as a new leader. Do you have a 5-star school? And maybe you've got a 4-star school. Fantastic. Well, what do you need to do to get 5 stars? Maybe you got a 1-star school. Fantastic. What do you need to do to get 2 stars? Maybe you ain't got no stars. Maybe I don't know, but just use your leadership team, use your guiding coalition to have a conversation. Is this the school that we would want our own children to go to? And if you would not send your own children to this school, you got work to do. And that's what I want to leave people for. And that's what it means to have a 5-star mentality.
I love it. Love it. And I cannot wait for your book to come out. I'm super excited about that because that is going to be on my reading list for sure.
Well, it needs to be you need to buy for your entire staff, Mel. So.
Okay. Now you do know that we are tuition based here. Okay. We don't
That's
have
all
state
right.
money coming in. So
That's all right. Your PTO will help you out. You got it.
Yeah, they do an amazing job for sure about helping us with all kinds of things. Tell my audience how they can connect with you.
Yep. I'm on. The best way is just provenprinciplellc.com is my website. It's pretty comprehensive. You can see all my leadership stuff on our podcast. That's on YouTube, The Community Connection. I got a TEDx talk out about this, so you can just Google me, man. Just Google me. I'm
Oh
all over
yeah.
the place. Just Google
Google's
me.
amazing.
Yeah,
Google's
just Google me.
amazing. Exactly. And I will have all of that information in the show notes. I just like to hear it out loud so they can just internalize it a little bit. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I am so glad we connected.
Awesome, Mel. I appreciate that. You're a joy to talk to.
Thank you. As you are too. I mean, this has been a great conversation. I'm just like got so much in my head right now. The rest of you, thank you so much for joining us today. I am super excited to have you here today while I was talking to Nathaniel, and I am super excited for when this episode comes out. I will talk to you all next week. Thank you for joining us today. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Principles take action.